What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. NBA. Detroit Pistons versus Orlando Magic, Game 3. So this is part of the first round of the NBA playoffs. The series is tied 1-1. The Pistons have a 60.9% chance to win. The Magic have a 39.1% chance to win. This game is at Orlando. For injuries for the Magic, Isaac's a game time decision. For stats, the Pistons have more points per game, higher field goal percentage, more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Magic will beat the Pistons tomorrow to go up 2-1 the series. Oklahoma City Thunder versus Phoenix Suns, Game 3. So this is part of the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Thunder lead the series at 2-0. And they have a 71.9% chance to win, and the Suns have a 28.1% chance to win. This is at Phoenix. For injuries, for the Thunder, Joe's a game time decision, and Williams and Sorber are out. For the Suns, Goodwin and Allen are game time decisions, and Williams is out. For stats, the Thunder have more points per game, higher field goal percentage, more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Suns will beat the Thunder tomorrow. New York Knicks versus Atlanta Hawks, Game 4. So this is part of the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Hawks lead the series at 2-1. The Knicks have a 54.3% chance to win. The Hawks have a 45.7% chance to win. This game is at Atlanta. For injuries, for the Hawks, Gilbert and Landale are out. For stats, the Hawks have more points per game. Knicks have a higher field goal percentage and more rebounds per game. Hawks have more assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Hawks will beat the Knicks tomorrow to go up 3-1 in the series. Denver Nuggets versus Minnesota Timberwolves, Game 4. This is part of the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Wolves lead the series at 2-1. The Nuggets have a 49.8% chance to win. The Wolves have a 50.2% chance to win. This game is at Minnesota. For injuries, for the Nuggets, Watson's game is out, and Gordon's game time decision. For stats, the Nuggets have more points per game, higher field goal percentage. Wolves have more rebounds per game. Nuggets have more assists per game. Wolves have more blocks per game and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Wolves will beat the Nuggets to go up 3-1 the series. College baseball. Georgia Bulldogs versus Ole Miss Rebels. So looks like game one. This is game one series that got delayed to Saturday. And yeah, so Georgia's 5 nation, 32-10 record. Ole Miss is 17 nation, 30-12 record. This is at Ole Miss, so this could be a good game. With it being a doubleheader tomorrow, that could who knows how that affects things. So, but I think with it being at Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss will beat Georgia tomorrow. Texas A&M Aggies versus Florida Gators. This is game two of the series. So Florida won game one. So if they win tomorrow, they clinch series. But if A&M wins, the series is tied. So A&M 7 nation, 31-8 record. Florida's 21 nation, 29-14 record. This is at Gainesville. With it being at Florida, I think Florida will beat A&M tomorrow to clinch the series. Georgia Bulldogs versus Ole Miss Rebels. So this is game two of the series, second in a doubleheader. Georgia's 5 nation, 32-10 record. Ole Miss is 17 nation, 30-12 record. This is at Ole Miss. So yeah, doubleheader that could maybe affect things, but Ole Miss does have a really good like home crowd for baseball. So I think Ole Miss will beat Georgia tomorrow. Oklahoma Sooners versus Auburn Tigers. This is game 2 of the series. Auburn won game 1, so if they win tomorrow, they clinch series. If Oklahoma wins, series is tied. Oklahoma's 14 nation, 28-13 record. Auburn's 11 nation, 29-12 record. This is at Auburn. So with it being at Auburn, I think Auburn will beat Oklahoma tomorrow to clinch the series. MLB. San Diego Padres versus Arizona Diamondbacks. The Padres have a 44.9% chance to win. The Diamondbacks have a 55.1% chance to win. Um, this game is part of the Mexico City series in the MLB World Tour. So this is in Mexico City, Mexico. So there's not really home field advantage here. So for starting pitchers, you have for the Padres, you have German Marquez has a career ERA of 4.67, WHIP of 1.33. And for the Diamondbacks, we have a Zach Gallen has a career ERA of 3.58, WHIP of 1.17. So that's good pitching for Gallen, not really good pitching for Marquez. So it's definite starting pitching advantage for the Diamondbacks. So for injuries, for the Padres, Will Wagner's on 10-day IL, Blake Hunt's on 7-day IL, and Yuki Matsui, Jeremiah Estrada, and Griffin Canning are on 50-day IL. For the Diamondbacks, Carlos Santana, Gabriel Moreno, and Tyler Locklear on 10-day IL, and Pavin Smith and Christian Mina are on 60-day IL. For stats, the Diamondbacks have higher batting average, more runs, hits, home runs. Padres have a higher on base percentage. Diamondbacks have higher slugging percentage and have a higher ERA. More walks plus hits per innings pitched. Padres have more walks, strikeouts. Uh, Diamondbacks have higher opponent batting average. So yeah, for stats, you know, mostly, relatively close. Like, obviously, strikeouts, that's the biggest difference. Like, with, Padres having, like 42 more strikeouts than the, Diamondbacks. So, yeah, this could be, interesting, like, as far as stats, like, as far as advantages, like, and, like, our advantage seems like, you know, most of them seem to like favor the like it's very close. Hard to say who favors who, like as far as stats go. Like there's not gonna be a home field advantage here, but with how close some of the stats are, it's already like which how many more stats favor the other. So I think starting pitching is gonna be the big difference here. So I think the Diamondbacks will beat the Padres tomorrow. The Athletics versus the Texas Rangers. The A's have a 39.1% chance to win. The Rangers have a 60.9% chance to win. This game is at Texas. So for starting pitchers, for the A's, Jeffrey Springs has a career ERA of 3.62, WHIP of 1.22, and for the Rangers, Mackenzie Gore has a career ERA of 4.19, WHIP of 1.39. So yeah, that's a good pitching for Springs. Not really good pitching for Gore, so it's definitely starting pitching advantage for the A's. For injuries, for the A's, Britt Rookers on 10-day IL and Gunnar Hoglunds on 60-day IL. For the Rangers, Jack Leiter's day-to-day. Um, Carter Baumler, Luis Carvalho, and Chris Martin are on 15-day IL, and Cody Freeman's on 10-day IL. For stats, the Rangers have a higher batting average, more runs. A's have more hits. Rangers have more home runs. On base percentage is even. Rangers have a higher slugging percentage. A's have a higher ERA and have more walks plus hits per inning pitched. Have more walks. Rangers have more strikeouts, and A's have a higher opponent batting average. As far as stats go, now the ERA for like the team, it's definitely that's the big difference. That was definitely the biggest difference between the two. You know, to make things interesting, but with the and home field advantage will help the the Rangers, but with the starting pitching advantage, I think the Athletics will beat the Rangers tomorrow. Pittsburgh Pirates versus Milwaukee Brewers. The Pirates have a 38.2% chance to win. The Brewers have a 61.8% chance to win. This game is at Milwaukee. For starting pitchers, for the Pirates, Mitch Keller has a career ERA of 4.46, WHIP of 1.37. And for the Brewers, Jacob Misiorowski has a career ERA of 3.98, WHIP of 1.2. So that's a good pitching for Misiorowski, not really good pitching for Keller. So it's a definite starting pitching advantage for the Brewers. So for injuries for the Pirates, Dominic Fletcher and Anthony Solometo are on 7-day IL. Jared Triolo's on 10-day IL, and Jared Jones and Sean Sullivan are on 60-day IL. For the Brewers, JB Bukaskas is on 7-day IL. Jackson Correo's on 10-day IL, and Jared Koenig, Quinn Priester on 15-day IL, and Andrew Vaughn's on 10-day IL. For stats, the Pirates have a higher batting average. Brewers have more runs. Pirates have more hits, more home runs. Brewers have a higher on base percentage. Pirates have a higher slugging percentage. Brewers have a higher ERA and more walks plus hits per inning pitched. Pirates have more walks, strikeouts, and Brewers have a higher on base percentage. So these stats are, relatively close. The biggest difference is probably Pirates have like 22 more strikeouts and 21 more hits, and that's definitely a big thing. And but like with the as far as but with the starting pitching advantage and the home field advantage, I think the Brewers will beat the Pirates tomorrow. Detroit Tigers versus Cincinnati Reds. The Tigers have a 48.4% chance to win. The Reds have a 51.6% chance to win. This game is at Cincinnati. For starting pitchers, for the Tigers, Jack Flaherty has a career ERA of 3.79, WHIP of 1.21. And for the Reds, Brady Singer has a career ERA of 4.26, WHIP of 1.32. So that's a good pitching for Flaherty, not really good pitching for Singer. So it's a definite starting pitching advantage for the Tigers. So for injuries, for the Tigers, Scott Efros, Tyler Owens, Troy Watson, Dugan Darnell on 7-day IL, and Zach McKinstry's on 10-day IL. For the Reds, uh, Nick Logolo's on 15-day IL, Alex Young's out, Eugenio Suarez is day-to-day, Jose Trevino's on 10-day IL, and Josh Stamont's on 7-day IL. For stats, the Tigers have a higher batting average, more runs, hits. Reds have more home runs. Tigers have a higher on base percentage, slugging percentage, ERA. Reds have a more walks plus hits per inning pitched. More walks. Tigers have more strikeouts and a higher on base or higher opponent batting average. So yeah, these stats, obviously have some that are big numbers, but it's kind of evens about which ones have bigger between the two, like two teams, like which ones have significant advantage. So the big thing here, I think, is going to be especially against home field advantage will help the Reds, but I think the big thing here is going to be starting pitching advantage. So I think the Tigers will beat the Reds tomorrow. Chicago Cubs versus Los Angeles Dodgers. The Cubs have a 49.7% chance to win. The Dodgers have a 50.3% chance to win. This game is at LA for starting pitchers for the Cubs. Colin Ree has a career ERA of 4.36, WHIP of 1.26. And for the Dodgers, uh, Roki Sasaki has a career ERA of 5 and a WHIP of 1.57. So, not really good pitching for either team. Not really significant difference here. So for injuries for the Cubs, Jackson Wiggins, Jeff Brigham, and Trent Thornton are on 7-day IL. And the Phil Mayton and Ethan Roberts are on 15-day IL. For the Dodgers, Brock Stewart, Landon Knack, Ben Casparius, and Blake Snell are on 15-day IL, and Mookie Betts is on 10-day IL. For stats, the Dodgers have a higher batting average. Cubs have more runs. Dodgers have more hits, more home runs. Cubs have a higher on base percentage. Dodgers have a higher slugging percentage. Cubs have a higher ERA and have more walks plus hits per inning pitched and have more walks. Dodgers have more strikeouts. Cubs have a higher opponent batting average. So yeah, these stats are I would say like pretty close. Like so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Dodgers will beat the Cubs tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.